Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Friday, November 6th, 2015, around 7:34 in the evening, Billerica, Massachusetts. Sun is down. We set records today in New England, Boston, Worcester, Providence, and Hartford, the four major cities in southern New England, set or tied records for the warmest day on record for November 6th, which is pretty awesome. There won't be any more records being set for a while, as the temperatures will be starting to go back to normal temperatures in the 50s. But next week, maybe at the end of next week, we could make runs at 60 again. And with this El Nino pattern, it's a possibility that could be a 70-degree day again here, there, in New England again. Hopefully no snow this year in New England, but we cannot say that. We could probably be buried in snow 3 months from now. And some news to report. LA Clippers star player Paul Pierce will be a guest analyst on the NBA Countdown soon. He'll probably go into television when he retires. And get well soon to actor and comedian Sinbad, who had back surgery. He had a 10-hour back surgery, so prayers to him for a speedy recovery. That's about it on the news. My third and final video blog subject of the night is about former Boston Bruins goaltender Bryon Dafoe. Bryon had a 12-year career in the NHL, and he was a great goaltender for the Bruins in the late 1990s. Bryon was born in Worthington, England, in the United Kingdom. His mother was English, his father was Canadian, and they were visiting England around the time he was born. And Bryon and his family grew up in Comox, British Columbia, Canada. That's famous for the birthplace of Pamela Anderson, Watch Babe, one of the most famous blondes in history and stuff. Probably the most famous blonde out of Canada. And Boston Bruins president and Hockey Hall of Famer Cam Neely, born in Comox, British Columbia, Canada. And Bryon played goaltender, and he was pretty good at it when it was like junior hockey for the Portland Winterhawks and the Prince Albert Racers of the Western Hockey League. He was drafted by the Washington Capitals in the second round, 35th overall pick in the 1989 entry draft, and the first few years of his professional career, Dafoe bounced around the minor leagues and the AHL and the ECHL and the National Hockey League. He shared the Cap Holmes Memorial Award in 1993-1994 for the AHL for best goals against average for a goaltending tandem with Olaf Kolzik of the Portland Pirates, which was the top affiliate at the time of the Washington Capitals. And Bryon appeared in a few games for the Capitals, but he was not a consistent goaltender for them. And he was traded to Los Angeles Kings in around 1995. Then he spent the rest of the time in the NHL for good. He was an average goaltender for the Kings, but he was traded to the Boston Bruins in 1997, and that's where he had most of his success in the NHL with. 4 times he won 20 or more seasons. 5 times his goals against average were under 3, and in 1998-1999, Bryon had a great NHL season with the Bruins, leading them to the second round of the playoffs, the conference semifinals. He had 10 shutouts that year. His goals against average were in the twos, and he had over 30 wins, and and in any other year, he probably would have won the Vezina Trophy, but this was during the time that Dominic Hasek of the Buffalo Sabres were winning Vezina Trophy after Vezina Trophy after Vezina Trophy. So Bryon had to settle for second runner-up for a Vezina Trophy that year behind Hasek and Curtis Joseph, but he made the NHL second All-Star team, just beating out Curtis Joseph by a few votes and stuff. And that was probably his best season, and he was not the same goaltender after that, because in 1999 he held out, because back then the Boston Bruins did not pay top dollar for star players. If they had a great year and if they were becoming a free agent and stuff, the Bruins would probably wait to see if they could get them at their price or trade the player away. But they re-signed Bryon Dafoe to a 3-year contract, and he, got hurt the first season and missed most of the season. He rebounded for 2001 season and 2001-2002 season, but they were not as superb as his 1999 season. The Boston Bruins let him go at the end of the 2001-2002 season because he was becoming an unrestricted free agent, and the Bruins were not going to sign him because he was on his downside of his career. Was a disappointment, because I think Dafoe, if he spend the rest of his career with the Bruins, he'd probably be one of the greatest Boston Bruins goaltenders of all time, because he was like a very good goaltender. That was the number one goaltender, the Bruins, in the late 90s, early 2000s and stuff. It took them several years to find a number one goaltender after getting rid of Bryon Dafoe. Then he ended his career playing 2 seasons with the Atlanta Thrashers, which he was not very good, and he retired in the NHL at the age of 33. Very, very disappointing to see him, Dafoe, become like a kind of like a flash in the pan after that great 1998-1999 season. Bryon's career stats were 171 wins, 170 losses, and 5 ties. He had a 2.68 goals against average and 26 shutouts. He was basically a 500 goaltender during his NHL career. And in the playoffs, he was a 10-16 record with 2.31 goals against average and 3 shutouts and stuff. And ever since Dafoe retired from the National Hockey League, he's been an advocate of autism and stuff. He and Olaf Kolofs, Washington Capitals goaltender, formed a foundation because both of them have autistic children and stuff. And that's about it on Bryon Dafoe. And that's about it on these video blogs for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'll be back with more video blogs. First video blogs will be the top 10 list of the top 10 sports stars ever to wear, the greatest ones to ever wear the number 1. And then second video blog will be about the BWO, Blue World Order, and ECW. I've been waiting to do a video blog about them. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about actress and author Heather Thomas. Keep calm, everybody. And I'm a Julie Button guy. Another mention of me on Julie Broughton's Facebook chats. Become a fan of hers on Julie Broughton News 6. And she's got the greatest smile in the world and definitely nice legs. Molly Rosenblatt of Fox 35 Vlogs. Amy Swinsey of Weast 2 is awesome. Elizabeth Hart is so stunning. And Heidi Pratt has the best legs in the world. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out. See you later, Facebook, YouTube, and